Okay, Rabotai, we are on live. Welcome to all. All right, Bezrat Hashem, we're going to start with one halakha today, and then we're going to continue what we started yesterday in regarding about how dangerous is being prideful. Bezrat Hashem. Okay, Rabotai, Bezrat Hashem, may this lecture be in memory of my grandmother, Burcho Bat Sarah. Okay.
I'm the Ben Ishmael today, right? Also the Nishman.
Is it? Seriously? I got a lot of candles. Is today or tonight?
It's 13th of Elul, so I'm today.
Right now?
Oh, yeah.
It's right now?
I mean, yeah, before nighttime, I guess, yeah.
Okay, well, no, I'm saying 13. Oh, okay, fine. Okay, very good. Someone know. Okay, B'ezrat Hashem. Yeah, today is the 13th of Elul. Oh, wow, I didn't even know. Okay, thank you. Okay. Okay, Rabotai, we're going to see today one halakha. Now, you know, a lot of times a person, he eats crackers with herring. Now, everything that we've been learning up to now, what blessing is going to be on crackers with herring? Or you have, I don't know, you have crackers and you eat, you know, those lox. Or you eat crackers with any other salty food. What blessing are you going to say?
Mazonot.
Why'd you just jump into Mizonot right away?
Because that's the important part of what you're eating, no? The Mazonot comes before anything that's shakol.
But what if you're eating it for the fish, but you want to kind of kill the taste of the saltiness in your from it? So wouldn't the cracker be secondary? You want to enjoy the fish.
Right, so that's exactly what I'm asking right now. No, so Ben is saying that because we know the halacha states, once you have from one of the five ingredients, like from barley, oat, wheat, rye, or flour, right? If one of those you have spelt from one, if you have them in the ingredients, automatically becomes mizanot. But over here, the whole question is going to be, what's my intent? What's my intent? Am I eating the herring? I really wanted the herring, and I don't want the crackers. Like if you tell me right now that there's no herring, I'm not eating the crackers. You understand, Ben? But if you're gonna tell me right now that no, without the herring, I'll eat the crackers, so then we're gonna say like you, then you're gonna have to say mizanot, and it's gonna exempt the herring. But if I'm eating the herring alone, and I just want the crackers to be able to minimize the saltness or to remove the saltness, then over there we're gonna tell you only have to say shahakol.
So to avoid all this machloket, can we just do separate mazonot on the cracker and then separate shakol?
I mean, it's not a machlok. I mean, it's pashut. Whenever you're eating a cracker with a herring, it all depends what your intent is.
Like I've seen people dissect sushi, have the first and then the
right. So some say like that. We spoke about this before. Some say mizanot. Some say blessing on every little thing. Again, it's not going to be wrong whether you do like this or whether you're going to do like that. But we want to say according to the halakha, especially when you have kiddush, you know they have those crackers with herring, and you take it and you eat it. You wanted the cracker, you understand? It's more like I'm saying that the herring is coming to give taste to the cracker. So over there we're going to tell you just to say one blessing of Borei Minei Mizanot. Now you want to say Borei Minei Mizanot on the cracker and then you say shakol on the fish or shakol on the water or on anything else. Be my guest. You could definitely do that.
I didn't hear the question. I didn't hear what you just said. I'm sorry.
I'm explaining this. I'm just repeating what I said. That if I'm eating, when a person goes like, you know, they have these kiddush on Shabbat in the shuls, you know, and they have crackers with herring. When I'm eating the herring with a cracker, I'm basically, I want more the cracker, and the herring is coming to give taste to the cracker. So therefore, all I'm going to say is the blessing of Borei Minei Mizanot. And I'm not going to say shakol.
What if it was the opposite? You want the fish?
Again, but Yaakov, you're right, but you have to be honest with yourself. Remember, if you would not eat the cracker right now without the herring, then you say shakol and it exempts the cracker. Same thing's going to apply for bread, you understand? But you have to understand, you have to be honest with what do you really want? Like, will you eat a cracker without the herring? Especially today, you know, they have these salty crackers. They taste good by themselves also. You understand?
That's true.
Okay, so that is going to be the halakha for today. Now, Now I want to speak about today. We started speaking about, when a person chas v'shalom has gava, right? When a person has pride and how bad it is. But Rabotai, I want to ask you guys a simple question. How dangerous can being prideful be? How bad could it be already? I mean, besides that, it could break up families and friendships, and cause people. People will do anything almost for pride or for honor. But how dangerous could it be?
You may start thinking that you did it yourself without God.
Very good, Rafael. Very good, Rafael. Wow, Rafael, very good. But also, therefore what, Rafael? So therefore what?
So therefore, you put yourself before God, in a way.
Okay, so
you become a non-believer. You become a non-believer.
So you guys saying very good. If we look into Sefer Devarim, in Perik Chet in Pasuk Yud Aleph, the Torah says here when Moshe Rabbeinu, before they were entering to the land of Israel, because Moshe Rabbeinu was not able to get into the land of Israel, what warning did Moshe Rabbeinu give to the Jewish people? Now, Rabotai, you have to understand, it's not me or you, it's Moshe Rabbeinu. Now, if he's giving this warning to all the hundreds of thousands of Jewish people that were there at that time, it's in the Torah. How much careful we have to be with this? So he says over here, Hishamer lecha, guard yourself, pen tishkach et Hashem Elokecha, lest you're going to come to forget Hashem your God. Now, what's the problem? What's the problem? Levilti shemor mitzvotav u'mishpatav v'chukotav asher anochi mitzavecha hayom. Lest you're going to come to forget Hashem your God, and you're not going to guard my mitzvot and my laws which I command you today. You guys see what's going on? Says the commentary here, when he explains the verse, he says, do you know when this happens? He says that when a person is blessed with all the goodness in this world, there is a concern from all the goodness that a person can have in this world, he can come to forget Hashem. Okay, so big deal, a person forgot Hashem. When a person has a nice car, it brings him kavod, right? It brings him honor. When a person makes money, it brings him honor. The way a person dresses, it brings him honor. He has this, he has this gava, he has this pride. Okay, so big deal, Ben. So what do I care what he has? So what? Okay, so big deal. You don't think about Hashem, you forget Hashem. So let you live your life. What's the problem? You guys hear the question?
Yep.
Okay, Rabotai, I want to share with you a very important Gemara, Masechet Avodah Zarah. This is a very powerful Gemara. The Gemara states over there in Daf Daled Amud Bet. Listen what it says over here. Rabbi Shua ben Levi said, "My dichtiv." What does this verse mean? What's written? Asher anochi mitzavecha hayom lasotam. What does this verse mean when Hashem says, "I command you today to do"? Now, Yaakov, you have to understand what's going on over here. Hashem tells us in the Torah, "I command you today to do the mitzvot." How many of us do mitzvot today?
All of us do it, Rebbe.
We all do mitzvot. If I have an opportunity to learn Torah, I learn Torah. I do all the mitzvot in the Shulchan Aruch. I have no problem with not speaking Lashon Hara, not cursing, not looking at other women. I do all the mitzvot Hashem commanded me. Huh?
No.
But that's not possible because of the Yetzer Hara.
It's not possible because of the Yetzer Hara. Now, we're going to try to minimize the Yetzer Hara, yeah? He says over here, the Gemara says, what does it mean, Hayom? Listen to this carefully. Hayom la'asotam v'lo l'machar la'asotam. You have to do mitzvot today and you cannot do mitzvot tomorrow. Now, if you look at the Gemara and the simple understanding of the Gemara, what does it mean? That you shouldn't do mitzvot tomorrow? Do not leave mitzvot for tomorrow. But that's not what the Gemara is coming to teach us. When I looked into Rashi, Rashi says, the any mitzvot la'atid. There's no mitzvot in the next world, meaning in the future, in Olam Haba. Now that's very bad. Rabotai, a lot of us, we live in this world exempting ourselves from doing mitzvot only because we think we're going to get an opportunity to do it later. When later? Not in this world. There's no guarantee you're going to be able to do it later. We think, oh, in the next world I'm gonna be able to do mitzvot. You're not gonna be able to do mitzvot in the next world. There's no mitzvot in the next world that you can accumulate. Why is this important to know? Because what happens a lot of times, what gets us not to do mitzvot the way Hashem wants us to do it, is our gava. We think we are above the letter of the law. We think, Hashem owes me chas v'shalom. I don't owe Hashem. That's a problem. That's what he says over here. Hayom la'asutam v'lo l'machar la'asutam. Do mitzvah today. Whenever you have that machlokas, should I do a mitzvah? Should I not do a mitzvah? No, the Torah tells you have to do it today. Put your ego aside. Put whatever you think aside. If I'm not allowed to do it, I'm not going to do it. And then he continues and he tells you, Hayom la'asutam v'lo hayom l'tot scharam. And you should know the mitzvah that you do today, you don't get the reward for them today. You're going to get the reward for them in the next world. There's certain mitzvot you get the reward for in this world, right? But not all mitzvot. Now, so what do we see from over here? A person who has gava, he's less likely to go ahead and to do mitzvot or learn Torah. Now, what's the problem? So, what do I care if I don't do mitzvot and learn Torah? So here's the problem. What is the whole reason that we came down into this world for? Yaakov, what's the reason we came down into this world for?
Well, we all have a mission, and
forget about the mission. Why do we come down to the world? Why do we come down?
To cling on to Hashem.
I love what you guys are saying, to serve Hashem. It's very nice answers. You came to this world to be able to acquire a very big Olam Haba. Through serving Hashem, through doing His mitzvah, through learning His Torah, you're going to be able to acquire the greatest Olam Haba that there is. But now I ask you, Yaakov, if a person has all the blessings in the world, right? I want to just go to off this shore for a second. Is America great or not? I'm asking a question like this: is America great? Meaning, did America help us become more religious, or did it chas v'shalom make us go more against Hashem? I mean, you can look at both ways.
You can look at it both ways, exactly.
But I'm saying, but if you look at what's going on, when people have more money, they start acting differently. When people have more money, they start doing grave sins.
We also, with money, we also make a lot of mitzvot.
Correct. So you think you give $1 over there, and then you can do a naver over there, but it doesn't work like that, Yaakov. America is a free country where we are able to practice the religion, correct? Our religion. But are we really practicing it? Like, somebody told me, Yuchan came out, I don't know, I don't watch, I don't know. Yuchan came out, he said there are 42 overdose cases, and a lot of them are Bukharian girls. Or like one father said, Chas v'shalom, that he came to America, and he's in America bearing his children, Chas v'shalom lo aleinu. You have to understand, are we using our potential in America, in New York, to be able to serve Hashem correctly? Or are we using it, to our own disadvantage? Are we really serving Hashem? When you're forced to not serve Hashem, you want to force Hashem. But when there's no Yitzhar, nobody's forcing you not to serve Hashem, so you don't serve Hashem. You understand what's going on? Did America make us come closer to Hashem or further away from Hashem? Now you can tell me, there's a lot of yeshivot, a lot of Torah, but look on the other spectrum also. How many boys, chas v'shalom lo aleinu, how many girls, chas v'shalom, on our overdose? How many people committed suicide? How much assimilation do we have? How many divorces do we have? Tell me, in Russia we had so many divorces like we have today? We had women dressing up like we have today?
But we have this everywhere.
Where in Russia, you had this in Russia?
No, not in Russia, but
I'm asking you.
Even in places like Israel, there's a lot of divorces. There's a lot of craziness going on.
I hear what you're saying. It depends which part of Israel you are in.
It's just the time that we're living in. I think it's more about the time that we're living in.
I mean, that's a good point. You're also saying a very good point. It could be the time. I'm saying if you go to
too much. Anywhere we go, if I see people are on their phone while they're crossing the street, everything is just a crazy generation.
I hear. But I'm just trying to bring out a point of Yaakov. By being in this world, we want to try to be able to acquire as much as Olam Haba possible. Are we doing it with the resources that we have, yes or no? That's the only question.
That's a good question.
You're right. Again, you're right in the time that we live in. You're 100% right. I agree with you in the time that we live in. You know, when I was in Israel, when you were in Israel, I don't want to tell you feel more connected to Hashem, but there's this thing that draws you to want to daven, to want to learn. Like even the air itself is kadosh. It's holy. It's a very different feeling.
I hear that a lot.
So basically, what I do want to bring out is that when a person has gava, the danger of being prideful is that when you come to forget Hashem, you don't come. Ilan, how are you? When you come to forget Hashem, you don't come to do His mitzvot, and that's a problem. You understand? When a person is full of himself, he doesn't do what the rabbis tell him. He doesn't do what the Torah tells him. He doesn't do what the Shulchan Aruch tells him. He does whatever he wants. I don't care. Let him do whatever he wants, but he's losing his Olam Haba. He's like the Chafetz Chaim says, he's changing eternity for a fleeting moment in this world. Now, I want to ask you a question like this. When a person has gava, correct, and now he thinks he's above the letter of the law, and he does whatever he wants. Tell me, his car is going to escort him to the grave? Yaakov?
Of course not.
No, why are you laughing? I'm very serious. His money is going to escort him to the grave? Or is he going to be with him there, at least in the graveyard? These things are not going to help us. These things are only means that we can serve Hashem better, but we're not serving Hashem better with it. It's destroying us by being haughty. By having a nicer car, you feel different. You feel, you're better than the guy next door.
So what if a person could afford it?
I don't care. Let him. But you have to know. You have to understand. Today, what's the problem today? Today's about showing off. When a person shows off what he has, that's gava. If you live a humble life, I'm not telling you not to live. I'm not telling you not to drive a nice car, but feel that what am I? Who am I? I'm only here to serve Hashem. I'm only using this car as a means to be able to do haknasat orchim, to drive people, to drive to shul, to serve Hashem in style. But I shouldn't have this, that I'm better than him because I have a better car. You understand? By having a better car, you feel that. I'm going to give you an example. Yaakov, I was driving, for example, right? I was coming home. There's a guy in a Bentley, a Bukharian guy, I don't care. So it's me and him. So I have a Ford Expedition. So I don't care for him. Listen, I'm driving with him. So I said to myself, you learn that you go to the side. But if you would have seen on the local road, not on the expressway, right over here, it's a two-way street. At the speed that he was going, what was he thinking? Because he thinks he has a Bentley, so make room for him, correct? So that Bentley is going to cost him his Olam Haba, you understand? That gava, Hashem hates people that have gava. Hashem says they're toiva, they're an abomination in my eyes. But he has a Bentley, what do I care for you keeping your bed? What do I care? You have to be a person, you have to be a human being. Or when you're driving, sometimes you see people that have nice cars, right? And they still, for what? Because you think you're better. And again, you're doing Isurim D'Oraita. You forget Hashem. Besides that, you're making Hillel Hashem. Besides that, you're desecrating Hashem's name. It's a very big problem.
So this halacha applies differently to each individual.
It applies to every individual same way. Yaakov, what do you mean?
It can be.
What does
somebody
that mean?
can be wearing a $100,000 watch, but they don't feel any different. Or somebody else, like you said, is driving a Bentley. He feels gaiba. He feels that he's better than somebody else. So this halacha applies differently.
No, why? Not necessarily, Yaakov, because why? Because you could have a person that he for him on his level, he feels he has a big. Even he has a regular car, he feels but he has a car. Again, I'm just trying to tell you, you could drive whatever you want, you can live wherever you want, but a person has to be humble. What it means to be humble? A person has to know that he's serving a Kadosh Baruch Hu. He cannot allow these material things to overtake him to being able to learn Torah, to do mitzvot. If those things interfere with your avodah Hashem, with your service of Hashem, it's a very big problem. You just told me you're not taking it, correct? But still somehow we're investing more time, more energy in building houses and vacations and money accumulating. than learning Torah and doing mitzvot. Listen, you want to daven 3 times a day. There's Arabs daven 5 times a day. How are you better than them? It's not only about davening. It's about constantly being attached to Hashem.
So how do we take this and apply it to our daily lives, practically, every single day? What should we do to put our mindset not to have gaiva?
Oh, so that's very good. So now you have to remember that every time when you have ga'ava, when you have pride, or when you're haughty, or when you boast over another fellow Jew or even another person, you should know you're doing a prohibition from the Torah. Can you imagine if I tell a person who's eating pig, or is he not putting in tefillin, or is he eating on Yom Kippur? Yeah, those sins are karet, but it's still a prohibition from the Torah. Hashem says you are an abomination. I don't like these kind of people. Hashem says I and he cannot live in the same world. That's why when you see people, they walk into shul, big shots, and they down to Hashem like this. I don't want to say what Hashem. What Hashem? I want to read for you like this. 1 second. I want to read for you halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. 1 second. Give me 1 second. 1 second. Let me see something. In halakha bet and see what in bet halakha vav. 1 second. Listen what the Shulchan Aruch says. Listen to this. He says, "Asur lalech bekom kufa." A person is not allowed to walk with an upright stature. A person has to be able to walk where he's going to be able to see at least, his feet. Normal, that you're able to see up to 8 feet in front of you. Not like this. Yeah, people walk like this. You with me? The Shulchan Aruch says, "Asur lalech bekom." You are not allowed to walk with upright stature. Says the Mishnah Berurah, why? Shedochek raglei hashechina. If it were possible, it's as if you're pushing away the feet of Hashem. So now you tell me if gava is good or not. You understand? It's like we've been saying the whole time. You don't recognize Hashem when you behave this way. When you don't have patience for your wife, your children, or somebody else, there's no Hashem in your eyes, because Hashem says you have to be patient. Like Hashem is slow to anger, you have to be slow to anger. Hashem is merciful, you have to be merciful. But you're not like Hashem because you forget Hashem. At that moment, you only know yourself. He says, therefore the Achronim wrote, "Da'asur afilu pachot medalad amot." Even to walk less than 4 amot, less than 6 to 8 feet, with upright stature is forbidden because you push away Hashem. Upashut da'afilu omed b'mkomo ve'ein holach klal. It's simple. Even if you're standing in one place and you're not walking at all, it is forbidden for you to be like this. That's why when a person comes to daven to Hashem, he has to be bent over a little bit. What is this Baba Maisis?
That's right in the beginning of Mishnah Berurah, right?
That's Siman Ben Halakha Vav. But you asked me a question, right? How does a person start working this? There's a lot of things you can do. There's a whole sefer on halachot on gava. There's a Igeret Ramban from Nachmanides. What you have to do is speak softly, right? Control your anger, don't get angry. There's a lot of things. But if you look into the Shulchan Aruch and Siman Aleph and Halakha Aleph, what does it say over there? To constantly place Hashem in front of you. You have to ask yourself, what would Hashem want from me at this moment? What does the halakha require me at this moment? From me at this moment, you constantly got to be able to bring the halakha, integrate the halachot into your life. We don't do that. Implement. Thank you. We don't do that. We forget the halachot. Once we leave the shul, once we leave learning, we don't remember anything we learned because we don't review them. How do you want to remember them? Now, I want to just show you how dangerous, having chas v'shalom, the wrong type of pride, where you feel that when you come to chas v'shalom, forget Hashem. When you forget Hashem, you stop doing mitzvah, you stop learning Torah. So what kind of Olam Haba are you building? You're not building any Olam Haba. But I want to share with you in Pirkei Avot. I want to show you something. It says in Perek Vav, in Mishnah Tet. Listen what it says. Shebisha'at piterato shel Adam. At the time when a person dies, a person does not get escorted by money. Money is not going to help you. Something that we run after is not going to help you. That's not. We give our life for money, correct? We argue with family for money, with brothers, with wives. The wife says, give me money, you die almost. Not you, I'm just saying. V'lo zahav, and not gold. V'lo avarim tovot u'margiliot. No pearls, no stones. Somebody showed me videos from on 47 how people lose their mind when it comes to jewelry. They're killing themselves for something that's never going to be able to help them tomorrow. You understand? They're doing Isurim Doraita by thinking that they're screaming, yelling, cursing with the kippot on. He says, what's going to escort you? Eila Torah u'masim tovim bilvad. The only thing that's going to escort you is the Torah and your good deeds. How do we know? Sheikhul Malik says in the Pasuk in Mishlei. Listen to this. I have to read this. Listen to this. B'talchecha tanche otach. When you walk, it will lead you. B'shabbecha tishmor alecha. When you lie down, it will watch over you. V'hakitzota hi tisichecha. And when you awake, when you're going to wake up, it's going to speak to you. Says the Pirkei Avot, he says, do you know what does it mean? When you walk, it will lead you. Do you know what that is? The Torah, when you learn Torah, in this world, by Olam Haba, is going to lead you how to live a proper life. When it says that when you will lie down, it will watch over you, do you know what that is, Yaakov? Where?
In the grave.
Bekever, in the grave, exactly. So Torah and Masim are able to watch me in the grave. Why am I not running after that? Why do I allow my bad character traits to go ahead and give that opportunity up of doing mitzvot and learning Torah? Do you know, and I'll tell you, people think, oh, you know, you might say, no, a person can have gava and still he's going to learn Torah. That's not learning Torah. The Gemara Masechet Shabbat says a person who does not have fear of God and has all the Torah in the world, he has no Torah. You understand? If you don't have derech eretz, you cannot have Torah. There's no difference between you and a donkey. You understand? Take a donkey, put all the books on him, all the books in my back, put it on his back, and take a regular person who has no midot, derech eretz, put it on his back also. They're the same thing. You have to have midot. And then he says, when you're going to wake up, it's going to speak to you. When is that? Olam Haba. In the future, in the world to come. Can you imagine? The one thing that's able to lead us in this world, be with us after we die, and it's going to be with us in the next world, we don't pay attention. Why? Because of our rotten character traits. You understand? Now, let me ask you like this. I want to conclude with this. You know, I just showed you over here how dangerous being haughty is, that you come to forget Hashem, you come not to do mitzvot, you come not to learn Torah. Let me ask you a question, Yaakov. When I ask a person, why don't you come to learn Torah? I don't care, 6 o'clock at night, 7 o'clock, I don't care. Why don't you make time to learn Torah at night? Can you tell me? Just give me, I'm not speaking about you, I'm just saying in general. Why don't people make time to learn Torah at night? Why is it so hard for them?
Laziness, they think that they have all the time in the world.
They're big shots. They think they're big, it doesn't apply. That's what I'm trying. It doesn't apply to them. They think they're above. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. They don't think that these laws apply to them. I have to go. He says he's lazy. Well, let me ask you a question. If that same night you have a wedding, bar mitzvah, brit milah, you're gonna go? Why? You're gonna go. You're gonna get dressed. You're gonna even spend money. Why? You're gonna show yourself off, huh? I'm in the party. You're going to go drink for your own honor. You're going to eat for your own honor. That is the difference. When it comes to doing for Hashem, we have all the excuses in the world. When it comes to doing for ourselves, we have no excuse. We're going to get it done. That's a problem. Now I want to show you a story of how bad and how destructive gava can be. You know, there's a story with, I'm not going to go through the whole story, but there's a story with Rabbi Chaim ben Taryadion, where he was taken out to be killed, his wife was taken out to be killed, and his daughter was taken out to be killed. He was taken out to be killed because he learned Torah. I'm not going to go through the whole story right now. But the Gemara says in Masechet Avodah Zarah on page Yudchet Yaakov Amud Aleph, why do you know that Rabbi Hanania ben Taryadion had a daughter? And do you know where they placed her? Hashem punished her that she was working in a znut house. You know what a znut house? In a prostitution house. That was her punishment. Can you imagine a rabbi's daughter is working in a znut house? Can you imagine that? What was the punishment? Well, what happened? Listen what gava can do. Listen how destructive pride is. The Am Rabbi Yochanan, because Rabbi Yochanan said, Pam achad hayta bito mehalek lefnei gedolei Romi. One time his daughter was walking by the great Roman, emperors, or by the great Roman people. Amru, so what did they say when she was walking? How beautiful are these girls' steps. She was walking very nice. The Gemara goes on to explain, when a woman walks, everything moves. Yeah. Immediately, what did she do? She even walked more careful because because they said how beautiful she walks. She took pride in her walking. That's why HaKadosh Baruch Hu punished her, that she was going to work in a place of prostitution. That was her punishment. Says Rashi, she was walking more finer than she did before. You have to pay attention. When a woman walks, it's not like she walks like a man. If there's a certain way they walk, the whole body moves differently. And what's the problem? What's the problem? Here, listen to this. What's the problem, Yaakov? He says, because in Tehillim it says, Kol kivuda bat melech pinima. The dignity and the nobility of a Jewish woman is to shun publicity and seek privacy. A woman is not supposed to be out in the world. I'm not telling you she cannot work, but a woman has her dignity and her kavod of a Jewish woman is tied. You understand? That's why she got punished. What do you think when you have women today, they want to be, the next rabbis, they want to give lectures, and no, if you give lectures to a woman in a room, no problem. But to come on Instagram, to go on X, on Facebook, right, and start, showing your face and your body, and you got to look into these women. You got to see if they're, I don't even want to say, I'm afraid to even say it. But he says, Kol kivuda bat melech penima. The honor, the dignity of a Jewish girl, it has to be inside. Her body, it's for the husband. It's not for the world to see. So that's why she was punished. She was punished because she started walking a little bit haughty in her steps. She refined the way she walked. Now I want to conclude with one more story, just to show you the severity of being prideful. Now, Yaakov, you have to understand how bad this is. We spoke about it yesterday. When people buy, Kaddish, or Aliyot, or Ni'ilah, right, or Parnasah, when you are outdoing the other person, if you have gava in your heart, it's not worth it. It's not worth it. You're going to get punished because of this. In the end, you're going to get punished because of this. You're doing a mitzvah to an aver. What do you need it for? Listen to what he says. The Mishnah Berurah in Siman Nun Gimel and Shivkat and Lamed Hey. He says like this. It's brought down in the Sefer Chasidim. You're not going to believe the story. It's brought down in the Sefer Chasidim. B'sha'ah Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel yatza lidin lehareg. At the time when Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel came out to be killed, Amar le Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol. He said to Rabbi Shmuel the Kohen Gadol, Achi, my brother, he said, Mipnei ma ani yotze lehareg. You know who Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel was? You have any idea who Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel was? Why am I being out? Why are they taking me out to be killed? Why? He's asking Rabbi Shmuel the Kohen Gadol. You ready for this? Amar said to him like this: Shema ha'ita doresh berabim. Maybe there was a time you were giving a lecture in public. V'samach libecha, and you were happy in your heart. V'heneta midivrei Torah amar, and you got enjoyment from the words of Torah that you said. That's what he told him. Maybe when you were giving a class over of divrei Torah, I did good. He said, this is the reason why you got punished. Said Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel to Rabbi Shmuel Kohen Gadol, Nichamtani, you have consoled me. You have any idea what that is? You have any idea how dangerous ga'ava can be? Ga'ava is what destroys people, destroys family, destroys businesses, destroys a person's health. And what do we do? We run after Yaakov. That's not like Ruben said yesterday, when a person wants all this honor, all this kavod, eventually gets all the einahar on him, and that's why he dies before his time, chas v'shalom. You understand? We think we show the world what we're always doing. Today there's no privacy. Everybody has to show what they're doing. For what? Why do all the people have to see what you're doing inside your house? Do you know what's considered to be a Jew? Do you know that when we came when we were walking in the desert, when we were making tents, do you know that if I had an entrance over here, that means your entrance of the tent would be over here, away. They would not be facing each other. Why were they not facing each other? Because modesty reasons. People should not know what's going on in your life. Today we tell everybody what's going on in our life. Vacation, at home, what we do, what we cook. Why? Where's the modesty? Where's the Jewishness in us? We're losing it. Why? Because everybody wants, you believe it or not, everybody gets kavod. Everybody gets honor. Everybody feels a certain pride in it. With that, they're doing sins. You understand? That's how dangerous. That's how bad it is.
After several years of questioning, where do I? Beautiful, Rebbe, beautiful.
And we got to be very careful. We got to work on this character trait of being haughty and trying to be humble, because the bottom line is time is running. Time don't wait for nobody, understand? Tomorrow when the landlord knocks, when a Hakadosh Baruch Hu comes to take a person, he's not going to ask you, you're ready, not ready. The time comes, the time comes. If you're not ready, you're not ready. You can tell him I gave tzedakah. You have to remember, Rabotai, giving tzedakah does not nullify everything else that wrong that we're doing. You understand? Tzedakah is tzedakah. What you're doing wrong is what you're doing wrong. You'll be accountable for everything good and bad that you do. That's why a person really has to work on himself. He has to really, learn the halachot, or take Orchot Tzadikim. See what he writes over there about having gava, pride in yourself. Hashem says, I cannot live with a person in the same world. If he has, how can that be? And we think we're learning to doing mitzvot. We have to check ourselves. But in the following class, hopefully on Monday, I'm going to show you halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. People do teshuvah on what? What do people do teshuvah on? Right? We say teshuvah. What do we do teshuvah on? How many of us do teshuvah on our rotten character traits? The Shulchan Aruch says you should be more concerned with your character traits than other prohibitions that we do in the Torah. You know that? Because those things we think it's okay. It's not okay. We have to work on that. It's a whole halakha in the Shulchan Aruch. I think, or maybe in the Rambam. In any event, if you guys have any questions, I'll take it. If not, we'll finish today for the day, B'ezrat Hashem.
Thank you, Rebbe. Very nice.
I'll see you guys. Okay. I'll speak to you guys.
Thank you.
Bye.